a warm welcome. It's been an anti-climax of sorts here in Hyderabad. We're at the Osmania University and it has been pouring. I can hear the thunder clouds go off as we bring you this broadcast. We've got all these anxious students who fought very, very hard for the Telangana movement, all of them wanting to make their voice heard, but we're just hoping that it stops raining in a while from now. We're trying to get these lights back on, but till then, we take you inside the Election Express. And in fact, several people have been asking me what the Election Express looks like from the inside. So tonight you'll actually get to see a live show being brought to you from inside the Election Express. You've got Indus Gharana, our band. You want to tell us what you want to perform? Because it's been raining outside. So you don't have the sort of space that you would have ordinarily thought you have. But the spirit is still there. Yeah. So what is it that you want to kick off Election Express tonight with?
We're starting off with a song called Dream. We're teaming up with another band called The Roops. These guys are into bold form of poetry. And it's a folk poetry art, and it's called Dream. It's about the aspiration.
What's the message?
It's about what I want, what I am looking at, towards, into the future, what I would like to
Let's have it.
Yeah. So, here we go. Check.
Allahu bol, Allahu bol. Allahu bol, Allahu bol. Bal kholu माझी भाई हमें जाना मदीना नगर हमें जाना मदीना मगर ओ अल्लाहु बोल बाल खोलो माझी भाई हमें जाना मदीना नगर है हमें जाना मदीना नगर check this life we've been with, seen enough for felt enough for guilt, took a hit, come back to spit. What I feel is what I deal with. My thought is the tallest, somewhere your hardest. Know I'm an artist, know what my artist. Flow so flawless, here it in your cardless. Set to set, this place on fire. Fire back to get back what I desire. Desire is what I got in mind. Mind so vivid, always on the grind. Grind massage with no some light to light this world with a glowing world. Pearl is what I got in a piece to unite this place with love and peace. I wanna change the world around me like a nuclear bomb in Nagasaki. Ladies and gentlemen, wear your khakis. Weed out the wannabe haramis. Destroy them like the plants of poppy. Plants of poppy. Plants of poppy. Thank you very much for kickstarting Election Express tonight. Slightly different circumstances from what our producers imagined, but fabulous having you with us on the Election Express. I want to walk back to our studios in the Election Express, and we're joined over here by a cross-section of political parties. If you could just make some space for me to come somewhere in the middle. Thank you all so much. Just slightly different from what we'd originally imagined, but we can still roll the show, and it's great to have you all with us.
Thank you, Rahul. It is certainly a different show altogether. We are drenched in rain, and your Election Express is stuck in the rain today.
No, but the good thing is that the spirits are still high. It might be raining cats and dogs, but the spirits are still very high. And we saw an enormous turnout. Virtually all of the students here at Osmania University had all shown up, and this really is the heart of the agitation for the creation of a separate state of Telangana.
It's extremely an iconic backdrop you have chosen today, because this has been the place where the movement has begun, and the students of Osmania University have relentlessly fought for Telangana. Today, if Telangana has happened, I think the sacrifices of the 1100 students who have lost their lives, and also the students of Osmania University, are the key core reason how Telangana has been.
Absolutely, and the Congress party, which created a separate state of Telangana, is now bearing the brunt. When we were just chatting with the students over here, several of them were very unhappy with the Congress party. Now, this is a calculation that you made, thinking that you'd create a separate Telangana, encash it during the Lok Sabha elections, the assembly elections, but it seems to have gone completely off script for you.
Not exactly. If we observe, it was the TRS legislator who was supposed to participate with us, and he has been sent away by the Osmania University students. It is not at all against the Congress. In fact, Congress has sacrificed its own party there in Seemandra, and they have given this Telangana without even thinking about the vote bank. Today, the votes are talking about different turn, and we are also picking up in Congress, both in Telangana and also in Seemandra. It is not at all regarding the poll mandate which we have seen that 2014. It were many parties, let it be TDP or TRS, who have dilly-dallied these tactics. Last that they were talking about letters in Telangana and their words, different words for Seemandra. So it was all these parties who didn't have a proper stand, and that is why Telangana got delayed. But it was always Congress party's intention right from December 9, 2009, since Chidambaram ji gave statement.
Okay, tell me, as a prominent lawyer in Hyderabad, what does bifurcation mean for the city of Hyderabad, and how does life change post-bifurcation?
Well, I would believe that bifurcation will have an effect. But in the long run, Hyderabad has a very rich culture, and I'm sure leaders from the TRS have also been saying this. They've been repeatedly assuring people that they have no problem, that settler, as an expression used, is no longer an abusive word. Therefore, I would believe that Hyderabad will remain a city rich in its culture, rich in its tradition. It will seep in. It will take on this political development that was inevitable. It was to happen. I don't think it came as a surprise. It had to happen sooner than later, and it has happened.
Okay.
And therefore, I believe Hyderabad will not only withstand this, it will endure it.
Hyderabad is one of India's oldest, proudest, and culturally most rich cities. Over the past few months, it's been tossed around as a political football, as the Congress, the TRS, the BJP and the TDP play their political games, hoping to secure their own interests. But what does bifurcation, the biggest issue by far in this Lok Sabha election, mean for the people of this metropolis? My colleague Simi Pasha went out and about across Hyderabad to speak to the average Hyderabadi, to find out what were his issues, his aspirations, his concerns, his anxieties in the battle for your vote 2014. Here's what she found out.
A heady mix of poetry, arts and crafts and delicious cuisine. The city of Hyderabad is the center of what is called Deccani Tehzeeb, an amalgamation of cultural traditions of North and South India. From being a princely state to the capital of Andhra Pradesh, to now being declared a joint capital of Telangana and Seemandra, Hyderabad has witnessed rulers, from medieval emperors to present-day politicians, battle for control over its territory. But this city has held on to its own, time and again reasserting its own brand of culture. A walk into the old city's bustling Lard Bazaar, spread under the shadow of the iconic Charminar, brings us into the glittering world of Hyderabadi gems and jewellery. Pearl necklaces and sparkling bangles made from colourful pieces of glass attract women like moths to a flame. Muhammad Ghulam Mustafa's jewellery store is more than 50 years old. It's a business that he inherited from his father. A true blue Hyderabadi, Mustafa claims that politicians may have divided Andhra Pradesh, but for the people of Hyderabad, it doesn't mean much.
पहली बात तो इसको अलग नहीं करने का था, चलो कर दिए, लड़ाई झगड़ा खत्म हो गया। दूसरी बात है, हम पे तो कोई फर्क पड़ने वाला नहीं है। जितने भी जो तरक्याती काम जो चल रहे थे, बड़े बड़े फैक्ट्रीज वगैरह ये आ रहे थे, ये ज़रा मुश्किल नज़र आता है, ये मुश्किल नज़र आता है। अभी उसके लिए बहुत टाइम लगने वाला है। हमारा तो बिजनेस है, चल रहा चलता है, बिजनेस में तो कोई फर्क पड़ने वाला नहीं।
Mohammad Riaz, who runs a Unani Dawakhana near Charminar, claims that the boundaries don't divide people.
पानी में लकड़ी मारने से पानी जुदा नहीं दिखता है, पानी लकड़ी उठाते पानी एक हो जाता है, जैसा हिंदू और मुसलमान एक ही है।
The scent of freshly cooked Hyderabadi dum biryani draws us to Roman Restaurant, a popular chain with outlets across the city. Saffron rice cooked with layers of chicken and mutton is the most delicious delicacy that the city has to offer.
कोई महसूस नहीं होगा, क्योंकि इससे पहले भी हम आंध्रा, सीमांध्रा, आंध्रा और तेलंगाना वाले सब मिलकर हम गंगा जमुना तहजीब जो कहते हैं हैदराबाद की, हम सब मिलजुल कर जिंदगी गुजारते हैं। तो मुझे नहीं लगता कि कोई फर्क महसूस होगा। It will be normal as it was earlier.
But there's more to the city than its biryani, gems and jewellery. Copper and aluminium metal handicraft work that was popularized by the Nizams in the 18th century is also a trademark industry unique to this city.
ये ओल्ड सिटी में पुराने जामा मस्जिद, चौकी मस्जिद, घड़ियाल, कबूतर खाना बोलते हैं इसको, 400 साल पुराना है और ये काम इनके 60-70 ईयर्स से चल रहा है। ये मोल्डिंग को ढालते हैं, ब्रश का काम होता है, ये बिराज बना के पब्लिक को शाइनिंग करते हैं, इसको देखते हैं, ले आके घर में सजाते हैं।
The imprint of Qutub Shahi and Nizam rule are evident on Hyderabad's culture, architecture, cuisine and language, giving it a very distinctive and very unique identity. As leaders from Telangana and Simandhra wrestle for control over the joint capital, this city of pearls harbors its very own dreams, that of one day being declared a union territory. With Kashif Siddiqui in Hyderabad, Simi Pasha for the Election Express.
Away from the politics, the average Hyderabadi still wants to just preserve his identity and the ethos of the city, and in that sense it's been really unfair to Hyderabad, because this is one of India's most vibrant cities and just is being tossed around in the midst of this political football.
Yes, Congress party has played with sentiments of people of Andhra Pradesh. Just for few MP seats, they have created a hell in Andhra Pradesh since last 4 years. Thousands of youth, lakhs of youth have kept their education aside and came out for the moment. I would like to question all the parties. 1,000 people have died. Now we are heading towards 2014 elections. How many parties have given seats to young candidates? Not even a single party has dared to give a ticket to.
Why is that? In fact, no, what is your objection?
See, basically, this is very shallow understanding of Telangana movement. Hyderabad is not Telangana alone. There are 10 districts of Telangana, and with all due respect for national channels who sit there in Delhi, they have to understand the common Telangana people wanted this division so badly. They wanted it and they fought for it till 60 years, since 60 years. And in 1969, the 369 people were shot in police action. So this is a legal, constitutional and a very well democratic demand of the people of Telangana, which got realized. So if parties like Lok Satta, who are actually one MLA in the entire assembly, who doesn't understand the nuances of this people's struggle, who are actually superficially staying in some AC rooms and thinking that they are the people's representatives, so for sure they'll be talking that language. You know, it is heart-rendering to see, and it is so heartening to see. We are so happy that Telangana's struggle has evolved into, a constitutional process, and for sure we do thank a little bit of Congress for what it has done. For sure it is for political expediency. There is no other agenda for it. For sure it has done for political expediency. Okay. But the demand for which was there in the attic for about 60 years got realized. So we are happy for.
No, but will the Congress be able to cash in after having created a separate?
Question is not whether Congress can cash in or not. I think that will be a politically irrelevant question. I think is the larger people of Hyderabad will be happy. Even the student community, I think, is for all the sacrifices they've made, they find a result. They find that the sacrifice has not gone waste. And thirdly, listen, when there is a turmoil, let us understand there are going to be people with grievances. This kind of, there's going to be some amount of unrest, distrust. But then the process has to happen. It was inevitable that we get Telangana. How long are you going to fool people and say that everybody in Andhra Pradesh is very happy, let's be. Hyderabad was being used as some kind of a blackmailing tool. Suddenly people from the other region said, we've made all the investments here, therefore this is ours. They said that is ours. The fact is, geographically, it belonged to Telangana, and sooner than later.
No, but it's also created in communities that have been living together. Suddenly, people say, "Oh, this person's from Simandhra, that person's from Telangana." That never happened. So many young people I spoke to said, suddenly we've become conscious of where we are, which was never the case earlier.
Regarding the Hyderabad constituency where I am, I represented for the Lok Sabha right now. There's something different I would like to present here. I mean, people ought to know about this. As I campaign across the 7 constituencies of the Lok Sabha Hyderabad constituency, you will find that truly the bifurcation issue has not touched them.
It hasn't.
Okay. Now coming to the other part of the city, I mean, apart from the 7 assembly constituencies where I am campaigning, if we come to the other part of the city, we are dealing with something, an extra burden, that is, all this time we were having across India the consciousness of religion, so Hindu Muslim. So there's something else that added to the Telangana region, that's about from Telangana and from the Seemandhra.
Okay.
So that's an extra burden that we are carrying now, as unnecessary burden. Apart from the numerous basic issues that we need to actually touch upon, this was something extra that was found. This could have been, whether the bifurcation necessity or not necessity, it could have happened without touching this particular sentiment of the dividing the people on a regional or a geographical basis. This could have been done. Leaders could have managed this, but leaders, as we see, have definitely done this on deliberate.
Okay. So, what do the people of Hyderabad think about this bifurcation? In our segment called Poll Pulse earlier in the afternoon, we went to one of the most famous biryani joints. We caught up with a bunch of people who'd actually come out to have some sumptuous biryani, and we asked them what they made of the battle for your vote 2014. Here's what... Oh, I had the biryani. Actually, I had so much biryani, I don't even know whether I remember to ask all the right questions or not, but I had a lot of biryani, and we're hoping after this gets over, we can go back for round 2. But here's what does Osmania University have some good biryani?
No, it doesn't. It's one of the few things the university is not very proud of.
But we can go back to paradise and
go back somewhere else. Anyway, here's what we found out over some finger-licking biryani, the poll pulse in the battle for your vote 2014. The biryani here, finger-licking delicious and very spicy as well. I want to start by asking you, what do you think of the way in which Hyderabad is being tossed around like a political football? As a young Hyderabadi, what does that mean?
I think it's very ruthless of the politicians to be doing this. Like just before the elections, we got a separate Telangana. That's clear tactics we can make out by the way they've played their game. It's not at all good for us students because we've been facing a lot of problems. There are students who travel from Andhra and come to Telangana to study, and because of this problem now they actually face problems in traveling and coming. They're tormented everywhere, and their own friends also are trying to boycott them. So it's actually a sad state for us.
You're saying that students are being impacted. How have your lives been impacted as a consequence of the decision to bifurcate us?
I would say due to those protests and all, students' lives were affected a lot because we had curfews, we don't used to have our colleges, classes, regular classes, and also our exams are being postponed a lot, and this will be closed and when this has come, like Telangana, with the Telangana.
Politicians want us to believe that bifurcation of Andhra Pradesh is a good thing. As a Hyderabadi, do you support the creation of a separate Seemandhra, the creation of a separate
No, I seriously don't support it because there should be unity among people. When there is no unity among the politicians, how would people be united? The politicians should be united and do some favor to the people, not for themselves, and fight among themselves.
You're saying politicians are playing their games. Sir, you've been coming here for many years, eating biryani here. What do you think of the manner in which Andhra Pradesh has been bifurcated, and these young girls say that their lives have been impacted, hurt, their exams are suffering because of this bifurcation?
I don't think it's a very nice thing also, because the difference being between the two regions is not very much. They speak the same language a little differently. So I don't really see the meaning behind this bifurcation.
You don't see the meaning behind. How many people here on this table think that bifurcation is a good thing? Bifurcation is a good thing. So 1, 2, 2.5, 3. So 3 hands up. Why do you think, sir, bifurcation is a good thing?
I think from an administrative point of view, it's well established that smaller states are easier to govern. However, in this case, it wasn't ground level economics or administrative reasons which were used. It was just emotional appeal to divide the people, which I think is very unfair. But from an economic and governance perspective, it makes sense.
So why do you support the creation of a separate state of Telangana and a separate Seemandhra?
Because I belong to the Telangana region, and we have seen the socio-economic conditions, the backwardness, the unruly dominance by the Seemandhra, both capitalists, the investors, and also the politicians on one side, how they have been biased to Telangana people. And that is why all that brunt, all that agony, and I totally disagree with all the voices which are coming here saying that this is a sudden decision. It has not been a sudden decision.
But what do you want to tell these young girls? The exams have suffered. They're feeling that in colonies where they used to live, suddenly there's a Simandra, Telangana amongst people who are staying there. All this is because of what the politicians...
Unfortunately, both the regions, many political parties who have given sides, who have been pro-Telangana, again they have been against Telangana. They say they have given letters for Telangana. They speak some other thing in different regions. Yes, they have made it a disturbance, but it should not be a divide between people. It is not an emotional divide. It is a geographical divide. And finally, there is a solution. Very 60-year-old trouble has been solved, and now there is a good administration. There is going to be a self-rule, self-respect, both the regions together. The people, the students should understand that this is for development. It is going to pave way for development.
Who do you think, sir, in this election has the solution to the problems of the people of this region?
I think Mr. Naidu has proven himself earlier also, and he is a very good administrator according to me.
What do you like about Chandrababu Naidu?
Well, he got Hyderabad on the map. I mean, America probably didn't know what Hyderabad is, where Hyderabad was.
What do you all think? Who do you think might have the solutions to the problems of the youth of this?
Honestly speaking, I don't think we trust anyone right now. We are all in a very confused state now because everyone is saying, let's give this one a try, let's give that one a try. Is this India? Are we just trying out? Is this a game that we are all playing here? Just, okay, let's try this person, let's try that person. We'll have some fun, we'll see how things will work out. I'm sorry. I don't think anyone has proper trust in anyone here right now.
Do you think that the Modi-Naidu alliance can be good for this area?
Absolutely. For Hyderabad specifically, I think it's good because, as you know, there's also a Lok Satta party in Hyderabad which has a strong anti-corruption movement, and I believe the leader of that party and Modi have met. So I think there's a good anti-corruption wave building up in Greater Hyderabad, which is good. So the three of them, Lok Satta, Naidu and Modi, make a good combination.
Okay, great. Thank you all so much for joining us. We can all get back to our biryanis in peace and knock off whatever is left. But thank you so much for joining us on the Poll Pulse on Election Express. Thank you. Thank you. Fiery debate over delicious biryani. I'm already craving for more. We actually planned to have some dancers on Election Express tonight, ma'am. Bit disappointing not to be able to see you.
Yeah, we wanted to dance for headlines today.
That would have been really nice. We were all really looking forward to it.
Yes, and we're all dressed to nines and, no dancing. So, yeah, a little disappointed.
Yes, apologies for that. This is completely beyond our control. But since we do have you over here, as a young Hyderabadi, I want to understand from you your views on the battle for your vote 2014. Who do you think is best placed now to help this area?
Nationally or regionally?
Both.
Well, like I said earlier, regionally, I'm going to go with Chandrababu Naidu. Like I mentioned earlier, I've been here for the better part of his term when he was the chief minister, and I saw a lot of changes take place in the city. And of course, there'll always be critics and detractors, but that's the same for every leader, every government. But then you have to choose between the deep sea and the devil. So regionally for Chandrababu Naidu, and nationally I would say Modi. He's an able administrator.
What makes you think Modi is an able administrator?
Well, I mean, okay, I haven't been to Gujarat. I haven't.
Then what makes you think Modi is doing a great job?
One reads, one is aware, one watches, one observes, and I'm going by what the media reports, right? So, and of course one reads. So from going by
what makes you think that Modi is better than Rahul Gandhi?
Rahul Gandhi has not proven his mettle as yet. He's still pretty young, wet behind the ears, not age-wise, but experience-wise. And I think he has a long way to go before he even considers, the post of a PM. And Modi, on the other hand, has had two very, very successful terms as a chief minister in a state like Gujarat, and he's delivered. So, I mean, yeah, it's an obvious choice.
Okay, let's ask some of the other members of the troop. Do you all share the sense that Modi and the Chandrababu Naidu combined could be a good combine for Andhra Pradesh and for India?
Yes,
Why?
I do. It's been like 4.5 years, as I told you. I'm a Bangalorean, so I have, seen his work, Mr. Chandrababu Naidu's work, and I do.
What is it about Babu that appeals to you more than, say, a Jagan, or more than a K. Chandrasekhar Rao, or more than anyone else?
I have seen his work, like the development, Andhra Pradesh, how he has developed it, and I feel he's a better person like to vote for, like as a candidate.
What about you, ma'am? What do you think?
Who knew Hyderabad like 5 years before? Like, you know, if you're in the global world, nobody knew Hyderabad. It's just because of Chandrababu Naidu, everybody came to know about Hyderabad. And the way he has developed the IT field, and not only IT field but also like in the rural areas, like, you know, there are much more when you take into consideration, like, you know, Andhra Pradesh, there is so much of development which you can see in reality, which has never happened in our, like, you know, with the previous leaders. And I think that is why I would...
Okay, we've got the dancing troupe seems to be big fans of Chandrababu Naidu and Narendra Modi. Yes?
Yes, hooray to Chandrababu Naidu and Modi.
Yeah, but what about our bands? Yes. Yeah, what? Yes, what's your contradiction?
Like, many people believe that Modi, what he has done to Gujarat, it's not as big as what somebody has done to Kerala or West Bengal in that sense, from what I have read from the leftist parties. So it's like maybe the individual is good, but the party is not.
What don't you like about the BJP?
I have a feeling that they favor Hinduism, from what I have read.
Do you think women will be unsafe in BJP, Shri Ram Sene, RSS regime?
And I think anywhere, whichever party comes to ruling, if women has to be safe, it's the mindset which has to be changed, which parties can't change.
Yeah, because there are lots of young women we've been speaking to at different parts who believe that, you know, women would be unsafe. They cite what happened in Mangalore, and they say that women would be unsafe if...
BJP rule state?
That's what they say.
I don't think it's got anything to do with who's in power. It's about the people in that area, the people who live in that place. So, frankly speaking, it has very little to do. Yes, it also has to do with the you know, the intention of the government to do something about these elements. But I think it's got nothing to do with the leadership or the governance. It's got more to do with the people and their mentality.
Okay. Who does our band support?
Nobody, because I feel that, you know, today's...
nobody is not a good option. You need someone to run the country.
I don't think...
It can't all be rap and music.
No, it's not about rap and music, but I'm putting my point forth because the thing is that everybody talks about development. Where's the development? There's no development. People are talking about, today they're talking about people being, you know, I see so many starving people outside on the roads, and I feel so sorry for them. They don't even do nothing about it, and in their manifestos they say that they're going to do so many things, but nothing comes to light until and unless, you know, when they come back to power. Before the power they say namaste, and after that we are must hai.
Our show outside completely washed out, so we're in the studio inside the Election Express. All those disappointed people who thought they'd be able to join us on the Election Express, but we're making the best of what we have. We've got a cross-section of representation with us in this cramped studio, and I want to move now from the local issues that we've discussed, the issues of bifurcation, to the national picture, where there's a big talk of there being a Narendra Modi wave everywhere across the country. Is there a Modi wave being felt, or a Modi impact, especially in Telangana where we are right now?
See, what we need is in Andhra Pradesh, after this bifurcation, we need a development. So people, you know, wants, you know, Modi should become Prime Minister of India because he developed. See, he proved. Gujarat he developed. Like that country also will develop. Okay? People are expecting, you know, development in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana also, both the states. That is the reason youngsters and the people of Telangana and Simandra people, they are like...
Do you think that there is a positive sentiment in favor of Narendra Modi here?
I don't think so. I don't think Modi will be a great factor in the city. I don't think he'll be a great factor in the state. I beg to disagree with two men sitting on both sides. I think the regional issue of Telangana is a major baggage that everybody will take to the polling booth, and I would believe that in Telangana people will vote to parties which have taken a clear pro-Telangana stand.
Which the BJP did also.
BJP did.
Yes, but somewhere I see they have not converted that into mileage as TRS has. Or probably the Congress will come piggy bank on the TRS.
That is over now, because
And,
already bifurcation is over now.
No, but people also want to see, that's correct, people want to see now who can develop Telangana. That's the biggest issue. And do you think there Modi, given his pro-development credentials, is a head start?
See, I think the mistake my dear friend is making here is differentiating an individual from the party. Bharatiya Janata Party, since even before it was Bharatiya Janata Party, since 1972, has been working for the demand of separate Telangana. In 1996, we have passed 97 we have passed the state resolution. After that, in 2006 we have passed a national resolution. Rajnath Singh ji was the president then and is the president now, And you know that within the parliament and outside the parliament, Sushma ji and Arun Jaitley ji has fought for the bill and made sure ensured the bill is passed. Congress is in no shape nor in any form to have even tabled the bill and supported it because it doesn't have the numbers needed.
No, but that is
I just wish to make one statement. Congress has made a self-goal and it has fallen prey to its own political expediency factor. Today it loses both the sides because people have rejected it outrightly. They have realized.
People wanted development, and as of now Modi is the one guy who everybody believes can deliver the development.
No, not exactly, and I would correct them for distorting the facts that in 1999 Sonia Gandhi ji put a proposal to the then Home Minister L.K. Advani ji about Telangana, and then they rejected it. And when Advani ji came here, Hyderabad, he himself said that because of Chandrababu Naidu's pressure, we are not able to give Telangana. So it is the friends of mistrust that today what happened between both the Naidus, let it be Chandrababu Naidu and Venkaiah Naidu. One writes a letter for Telangana and then goes to Simandra and speaks against Telangana. And one person speaks in the Rajya Sabha against Telangana. So one should understand that it is all what is happening, that they have started this political equations. And one more thing is, it is not the Congress party who thought Telangana should be given for political reasons. It was K. Chandrasekhar Rao who started the political equation of 115 equation, 100 assembly seats and 15 parliament seats, and then this entire mode went into politics. But it was Congress party who wanted to give Telangana because it has a promise being made for the people. And he wants to
see, basically facts are facts. I mean, they're recorded. What I'll tell you now, coming to the point of the development, now that the division is finished, what are the people of Telangana looking for? They're looking for development. They're looking for stability. One second, buddy, one second. They're looking for stability and development. And Modi can only be the man who can give development and stability to this people.
No, but also in this area, Jagan Reddy seems to be quite a hated figure. No one in Telangana seems to like Jagan Reddy very much.
That's because YSR Congress Party took the stand of United State. That means the development of Telangana, Simandra, within Simandra, Rayalaseema and Costa Andhra as well. And that was misunderstood by the Telangana population because of the sentiment that was being built over the last 12 years that Telangana has to happen, and he was being mistook right now. And when it comes to the national parties, I think probably BJP is a better devil than Congress at this point. But I think Narendra Modi has got the tag of development, and you be sitting at the center as a prime minister, I don't know how far he can do the development in the state.
One more crucial point.
Andhra Pradesh is purely now it is going to be a regional party based state. Previously Congress had some stature here, now no more. In Telangana,
I may not really disagree on whether Modi is the picture of development or not. I'm not there. I am saying this election in the two regions of the present state, one will look at it as a Thanksgiving. And in Thanksgiving, Modi is not being seen as the man who...
Thanksgiving, BJP will be seen as...
I don't see BJP
is the only party which made Telangana possible. There are no doubts about it. Because
we'll probably meet and arrest rainy evening to see who's right.
BJP never made any inroads in Andhra Pradesh. Their highest number was after the Kargil war. They had about 18% or something, and it has come down to 5-6% in the last election.
Okay. And now they shifted their stance. BJP shifted their stance in Rajya Sabha. And one more important thing is, we are going into a very dangerous mode of anarchy in India by speaking up only one. We have studied about development theory by Max Weber, but who is this Modi? Promoting only one person, and India doesn't see only one person. It is a very bad dictatorial attitude which India is seeing.
This is democracy. Hyderabad is one of those cities in India which have amongst the highest Muslim populations. At a time when it's being said that there is a big Narendra Modi wave, what are the Muslims of Hyderabad thinking of the battle for your vote 2014? My colleague, Headlines Today's editor South, T.S. Sudhir, files this report for the Election Express.
In the old city areas of Hyderabad, it seems that come election time, almost everyone wears his religious identity on his sleeve and on his vote. The All India Majlis-e-Ittehadul Muslimin, AIMIM, a party that represents the cause of the Muslim community, has a loyal following.
ऐसा उन्होंने क्या किया है कि आप एमआईएम को सपोर्ट करेंगे?
किया तो दूसरे पार्टियों ने कुछ भी नहीं, एक रहता ना अपने लीडर्स मुस्लिम पार्टी के लिए वोट करेंगे.
One of the main reasons for the urge to rally around politicians practicing a familiar faith is because of this man. It is almost as if this election has become an eyes and nose vote on Narendra Modi.
He will make Hyderabad the next Gujarat. That's the reason we fears with the BJP, we fears with the Modi.
गुजरात का वाक़या है, वो तो बहुत याद रखने की वाली चीज़ है.
But there are some who are willing to give Modi a chance, despite Gujarat 2002.
नेता है, कौम का अच्छा ही चाहेंगे वो भी.
गुजरात में जो हुआ उससे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता.
कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, वो तो हर जगह होता है, वो खाली गुजरात में थोड़ी होता है.
But a moderate line is not what sells in this season of polarization, which is why MIM leader Akbaruddin Owaisi, whose hate speech against Hindus in December 2012 landed him in jail last year, is a hero in the community.
Akbaruddin Owaisi is contesting the Chandrayan Gutta constituency. His aggressive approach clearly has a fan following in these narrow bylanes.
हिंदुस्तान में जब विनोद कटियार, मुरली मनोहर जोशी और जैसे अपने अमित शाह सब बोल सकते तो अकबरुद्दीन ओवैसी साहब को भी दायरे में रह के बोले.
But Owaisi takes care to keep his fiery temperament in check. So no more talk of Muslims versus Hindus. But yes, Modi still invites vitriol.
He has been projected as a prime ministerial candidate only because he failed to protect the Indians living in Gujarat. Or was he not just a quiet spectator when the Muslim localities of Indian Muslims were getting burned, they were raped, he was quiet?
Elsewhere, the attempt is to emphasize victimhood. Asaduddin Owaisi, who heads the AIMIM, insists that the impression of being treated like second-class citizens in a city that has 41% Muslim population is not a figment of the community's imagination.
We have always been on the wrong side. We have never been dealt justly and impartially way by the man in uniform. We have never been dealt.
But this election is also seeing a change in outlook. The MIM has fielded candidates in 3 other Lok Sabha seats in Telangana and significantly fielded Hindu candidates in both the Lok Sabha and Assembly elections. This is seen as an attempt to forge a Dalit backward caste Muslim social alliance to take on the well-entrenched upper caste formations.
I belong to BC community and a Hindu candidate. It will be a big asset to the party that none of the other parties are giving any chances.
So what is sinking in is the fact that new social engineering is taking place. Earlier, Muslims in Hyderabad were a vote bank for other parties. Now, there is a situation where they themselves are taking initiative through political means to broad-base their following, taking others into their fold in a new Telangana. With T.S. Sudhir in Hyderabad, Shujoy for Election Express.
Right before arriving at the Osmania University, the Election Express crew went and visited MIM leader and sitting Hyderabad MP Asaduddin Owaisi in his stronghold of old Hyderabad, which is where the maximum Muslim concentration is. What does Asaduddin Owaisi make of this so-called Narendra Modi wave, and how might it impact people in Hyderabad? Here's what Asaduddin Owaisi told the Election Express. We're in the area of old Hyderabad, and joining us is MIM leader and sitting member of Parliament Asaduddin Owaisi. Thank you very much, Mr. Owaisi, for joining us. I want to begin by understanding from you your sense of the implications of the decision to bifurcate Andhra Pradesh on the politics of Hyderabad, where you're contesting from.
I feel that there will be a negative long-term impact, especially as far as Hyderabad is concerned, because the bill that was passed in Lok Sabha has created more problems. It has not solved the issue of drinking water problem of Hyderabad.
What's your sense of the current buzz around the Narendra Modi campaign? Everywhere we travel, there's talk of a Narendra Modi wave. People are talking about his campaign. You're one of the most prominent Muslim leaders of the country.
If there was a wave, then why was there a need for BJP and TDP to even go for an alliance with an actor?
To capitalize on the wave.
I don't think so, but yes, Mr. Modi has definitely polarized both the communities. See, you cannot take Modi as an individual. Modi comes with a package of RSS, Vishwa Hindu Parishad, Bajrang Dal and all the sister organizations of RSS. So, and then he was here in Hyderabad, day before yesterday, he talked about, but for Sardar Patel, one would have to take a visa. Why did he have to talk about one of the bloodiest episodes of that period?
But to be fair to Narendra Modi, he pulled up all those who were making these loose comments, saying, don't say such things, keep the tone and tenor around development.
Rahul, please don't use this word for Mr. Narendra Modi, fair, F-A-I-R. Mr. Modi and fair, you cannot even talk about fairness when Mr. Modi is concerned. He is the most divisive, polarizing figure in the Indian politics which we have right now.
Gujarat relatively has been peaceful and calm.
Gujarat has not at all been relatively peace and calm. The Muslims of Gujarat are suffering from what we call Stockholm Syndrome. That is what they are suffering from because of weakness of Congress, because Congress is not rising up to the expectations level, and that is why he is gaining.
But opinion polls show that certain percentage of the Muslims are willing to vote for Narendra Modi.
We'll come to know. You give 448 Lok Sabha seats and you have 8 Muslims, and I can responsibly say that Mr. Shahnawaz Hussain is also going to lose. That was supposed to be one of the safer seats for a Muslim candidate of BJP. He is going to lose from Bihar.
But do you think of Modi as being a threat to the idea of India, because he seems to be also riding a massive groundswell of support?
See, I am reminded of 1933, wherein Adolf Hitler used to say the same thing. I will make Germany strong, I will start manufacturing units, I will safeguard the borders. And the world had seen what happened. So, you cannot expect anything good coming out of a Modi-led government.
No, but what about all those who believe strongly in the idea of Modi? There are lots of people clearly who do so.
I believe in the diversity of India. And that diversity is being threatened by this divisive figure.
Well, each voter needs to decide for himself what he thinks is right. Mr. Owaisi, there are lots of people down below waiting for you to rejoin them on the campaign trail. Thank you so much for taking out time and joining us on the Election Express. Thank you, sir. Asaduddin Owaisi, they're creating a spectre of concern about what might happen if Modi were to be chosen India's Prime Minister. That's about all the time that we have on this edition of Election Express. Slightly different from the plan that we'd originally conceived for you. But since we are here, I want to show you our production control room. This is where we broadcast out of every night. Puneet, can you just turn around and say hello to our viewers? That's Puneet, that's Farhat. They're working on the vision mixing and the audio, putting this broadcast together. Come hail, come high water, rain, no matter what. Election Express is out there in the midst of real people talking about the real issues in the battle for your vote 2014. And I don't want to end this broadcast without giving all those who joined us on this broadcast at Osmania University an opportunity at least to make their voice heard. Maafi chahunga, we couldn't give you as much of a chance because bahut zor se barish hone lag gayi. But I want to understand from you your concerns and the issues that you really wanted to take up in this broadcast. What, for the students of Osmania University who are still here despite the rain, are your biggest concerns?
Well, all I believe is like the politicians, the kind of politicians we have been seeing, they are doing preparations before elections. Actually, they are supposed to prepare after once they are elected. So there is a lot of communalism which is spreading across, and no respect for women.
Who do you think is best suited to now resolve the problems that Telangana has to deal with? One by one. Yes, every political party today has played decisive politics. No party has a real concern for the people of Telangana.
But it was only Jayaprakash Narayan, the only person who spoke non-partisanly, and he gave a roadmap to Telangana issue that was taken up from the BJP, that was finally accepted.
Party giving Telangana, announcing Telangana at this juncture.
ये पूरा गलत है. मोदी को तेलंगाना के बारे में कुछ भी नहीं मालूम. आंध्रा में जाके एक कहते हैं, यहाँ पे एक कहते हैं. वो तो चंद्रबाबू नायडू जो सिर्फ लिख के दिए थे वही बताया. उनको तेलंगाना के बारे में कुछ पता नहीं है. हम सेक्युलरिज्म चाहते हैं, एक अच्छा तेलंगाना बनाना चाहते हैं. तेलंगाना को मॉडल, इंडिया का मॉडल बनाना चाहते हैं. गुजरात का मॉडल हमें नहीं चाहिए. आगे हैं.
तो तेलंगाना को गुजरात कौन बना सकता है?
नरेंद्र मोदी बना सकता है और आंध्र प्रदेश में किशन रेड्डी बना सकता है.
जयप्रकाश नारायण.
Hyderabad is more developed than Gujarat. We don't need Gujarat model. We don't need Gujarat model. Gujarat need Hyderabad model to get developed.
When we are talking about the Gujarat model, we should also think that there are a lot of human killings going there.
That's true.
When Rahul says about the toffee model, he should not be radicalized. He should not be radicalized. We agree with that. When someone is talking about
Modi
the toffee
has no
model,
dominance here.
then when one should think about what the development should be sustainable development with the human values and social equality.
Propaganda that Modi is not having a wave here. Modi wave is clear in the south also.
There is no Modi wave.
कल मैंने सुना था
ठीक है कल मैंने सुना था कि बेंगलुरु में कोई एक जना बोल रहा था कि मोदी की सुनामी आ रही है, मोदी की सुनामी आ रही है। तो सुनामी आएगी तो पूरे लोग डूब के मर जाएंगे। मोदी की ना सुनामी है ना वेव है। हैदराबाद में और तेलंगाना में अगर कोई चाहता है अमन और सुकून चाहता है और कुछ नहीं चाहता है, अमन और सुकून से चलना चाहता है, सेकुलर चलना चाहता है।
You know, yes, quickly. In the midst of communal issues, we have forgotten the most important issues. One, dynasty politics. Two, politics based on caste system. See, the Congress candidate from Malkajgiri went to a village called Medipalli and he said, since you are all SCs, I am SC, you should vote for me. And 70% of the men who were there went up. Just a minute. Communalism doesn't mean only just about religion. Communalism is about caste.
Okay. So I'm sorry, we're out of time on this broadcast. It started raining so heavily that, yes, I'm sorry that it started raining. This was beyond our control. But we will be back in Hyderabad, and I promise that we'll do another episode of the Election Express from here very soon. That's my promise. Unfortunately, lots of voices, very surcharged voices, not getting adequate representation because of the fact that it started raining. But we've got a special group of people who are joining us on the Election Express, classical Indian dancers, whole host of special performances lined up. Ladies, I'm really sorry. This is the best stage we have for you tonight.
Rain gods, right?
Yes, we can't control. Is there a dance that sort of ensures that the rains don't happen?
Had we known, we would have actually had a special feature for Indra, but we didn't know that Indra would play spoiled sport. So
okay, so why didn't you tell us what you're going to do so our viewers know what's happening?
well, I am going to be performing a style called Vilasini Natyam, a short extract, if you will, and
I'll be presenting Kathak.
Okay.
I'll be presenting Odissi and a pure dance.
I'll be presenting Kuchipudi.
Okay, excellent. Let's go for it. This is your stage. Our cameras are ready. Can we have the music, please? Come. Who gets to go next?